Hello, welcome to a quick video about how to give your child more effective instructions. So here's a little conversation between some colorful shapes here, starting with little yellow guy on the left. He says, "Hi there. Hey, little yellow. Can you help me? I have a child who never listens to what I say, no matter how many times I ask them to do things. You're in luck. Like many other parents, you have some great questions, and I'm here to help. Sometimes I feel like my child is ignoring me, and I get so frustrated." It sounds like you need to learn a little bit about what we call effective instructions, which is kind of a fancy name for getting your kid to just do what you tell them. Is it really that hard to stop playing video games and just do their homework? No, it should not really be that hard to get your child to just do their work. So here's an example, and you might relate to parts of this or all of it. Um, you might, be talking to your child and say, "Lucy, you need to clean your room." And she's looking at her phone. She's on the couch. She's not listening. "Lucy, clean your room, please." Maybe she kind of nods, looks at you briefly, and then just goes back to her phone. Then you find yourself yelling, "Lucy, clean your room." And she looks up and says, "Mom, why are you yelling at me?" Right? And it's like you're frustrated. You've already asked her 3 times. Of course, you're yelling by that point. So let's find a more effective way to do this. What even are effective instructions, first of all? They're clear directions about what to do, a way to avoid repeating yourself. They answered all your problems? Maybe not. But effective instructions will certainly make everyone's lives easier and they'll help you and your child get along a little bit better. So, we're going to go through the steps of kind of how to do more effective instructions. And I want to say right up top that this is going to be a change. It's different sorts of language than you're probably used to. And it's going to feel kind of funky at first. And that's totally okay. Um, you're trying out a new skill and it's going to take time. And it's okay if it doesn't go perfectly right away. Step one, remove distractions. This is kind of an often forgotten piece because it happens before you even give the instruction, right? So your child is not actually able to listen if their attention is elsewhere. Like Lucy in the example was on her phone, she wasn't listening. So, what I would suggest is to stand near your child, walk over to them, don't yell all the way up the stairs, kind of a thing. Say their name to get their attention and wait for them to put down whatever they're doing so that you know they're actually listening to you in that moment. Step two, and this is really simple, just give one direction at a time. We often fall into the trap of giving a whole long list of instructions that's too much for the child to follow, and then nothing actually gets done. So instead of that, just make it really clear, one direction, don't overwhelm them. Final step, step three, pause. Give them a second, wait for them to begin the task before you jump into "why haven't you done it yet" and wanting immediate results. Give them just a second to even understand what you're asking. We all can appreciate a little bit of patience when being asked to do something, and your child is no exception. So, here's an example of what might happen. And this is an example that would go really well. And I understand that this may not be you the very first try. So, "Hey, Tommy," already you can see that's that first step of kind of removing distractions and saying their name. Here's the direction. "Please put away your toys now." It's one step, it's simple. Third step is to pause. You just wait for them to hear. Tommy might need a second to understand what you're asking of him. Then you can watch Tommy begin to put away his toys and praise him when he does it well. We do have a separate video on praise, which you can check out later on our website. So this might not be exactly as I have it here the first time, and that's okay. You can always repeat if he doesn't put his toys away. Repeat the same exact sequence, really clear instructions, one direction at a time, no distractions, and pausing to wait for Tommy to understand what you're asking. Now, at this point, you might be saying, "But I always do this and my kid never listens to me, and I have to tell him a million times." Yeah, that would be really frustrating. So let's look more at that. Maybe you're making one of these really common mistakes. Asking the child a question is something we do because we do this to other adults. It feels more polite sometimes. You might say something like, "Are you ready to go to the store?" Or, "Can you please put your shoes on?" Spoiler alert, no, they do not want to do that. They're not ready to go to the store and they don't want to put their shoes on. But you've asked them, and so then you've gotten an answer, but you don't like the answer. So let's cut that part out completely. Just tell them what to do without actually giving a choice. Put your shoes on now. Then they can't say, "I don't want to," because you didn't ask whether they want to or not. Another common mistake is telling them what not to do. So making it really clear that you don't want them to leave their room a mess, you don't want them to stomp their feet, but it's unclear what they should be doing instead of those behaviors. So be really clear about what you actually want. Please clean your room. Please walk quietly when we're in the library. Things like that that inform the child what they should do instead. And then finally, we've already talked about this a little bit. Don't give too many steps at a time. No long lists of tasks. Just keep it simple, one thing at a time. So here's some examples of really ineffective instructions that can be easily turned into effective ones. Instead of "stop playing around," which is kind of vague because what even is playing around really looks different for different kids. And you're just saying stop doing that, but they don't know what to do instead. Say something like, "Come help with dishes." Instead of saying "let's clean up," because who's cleaning up? Probably not you, probably just the child. It's not a group activity. Say, "Get ready for school," or "Clean up your toys now." And then instead of giving a long list like "put your clothes away, wash your hands, and set the table," which might work for your child, you know your child better than me, but for a lot of people, that's too many steps. Say something like, "Go put your clothes away and then return to the kitchen." That way they can come back and you can give them another additional instruction. So is this you? It's still not working and my child can't figure it out and I must be a terrible parent and my child is doomed. So kind of dramatic, but I get it. Super understandable. You just need practice. Your child just needs practice. This is a new way of operating in your home. It's a new way of talking to them. It's going to take some time before it's super effective, and that's okay. Just keep trying, and I'm sure it'll be more effective than before. Finally, here's some resources. You can check out childmind.org, scholastic.com, and childdevelopment.com for more information. Thank you.